Hey, what's up? This is Gardetrace. As you guys can see, I've been very silent for the past 2 months. It's been a while since I've posted a rant video, of course, because, well, really haven't had anything to rant about. And also, I had just decided to take a little break from YouTube in order to focus on other things, as well as to plan out where this channel is going to go in the future. Because I'm just looking back at my channel and seeing what I have done so far, and then I just decided, where do I want to go? And then I started working on other projects that are not going to be focused on my typical rants that I would do, and these are things that you can expect to see all throughout the coming months. And then, of course, with me not having anything to rant about because, well, I've been watching good anime for a change. Like, I've seen things like Devilman Crybaby. I started watching the likes of My Hero Academia. I started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So, overall, I've been watching actual good anime series as of late. But then, a couple of weeks ago, a video had dropped on Geekdom 101's channel, and I'm just hoping that it was some kind of a joke. I was just hoping that this wasn't legit, and Geekdom himself was hoping that as well. He was hoping that this was just some elaborate hoax. And then it turns out it's not. The upcoming Dragon Ball Super movie, which will be coming out this December in Japan, is titled Dragon Ball Super Broly. The upcoming Dragon Ball Super movie is going to make Broly canon? Why? Why is it gonna make Broly canon? What's the point of that? So we're just going to take a character that we've had before and we're just going to rehash them for this new film? It's just, again? This is like Resurrection F all over again, except Resurrection F used a canon character, but the purpose of this movie seems to be to simply take a character not part of the canon and just force him in the canon. But why? Why do we need that? And it's just Dragon Ball doing what it always has been doing since we have had its revival since 2013. We're just taking characters that are very popular with the fans and just forcing them into newer works, just making those characters lose so much credibility in the process and showing that the Dragon Ball franchise really has zero ideas left. Now here we are. We're taking Broly, a character that we've already had a character introduced to the series, which was pretty much the canon answer to Broly in the form of Kale. We had already had Kale, even though I don't like that bitch. It's just, okay, you want a canon Broly, here you go, but we're not stopping there. We're gonna just actually take Broly and throw him into the canon as well, just because he's popular, because that's how Dragon Ball works now. If a character is popular, they'll just keep rehashing them because, well, why come up with new things when you can just continually retread on ideas that have worked before, but do absolutely nothing to earn those old ideas. Because that's how it goes. It's like, because with Broly, he is the most popular of Dragon Ball Z's movie villains. It's to the point where the motherfucker has 3 fucking movies. And here the fuck they are. Here they are, signed by Vic Mignogna. So here we go. We already have 3 movies. Only the first one was good. The other 2 was complete dog shit. But the thing is, we're going to take Broly, and all we're really doing is just slapping the Toriyama stamp of approval on him. But what is Toriyama really going to do to set this new Broly apart from the old Broly? It's because when you really think about Toriyama, what the fuck has he done lately? He has mostly done one of 3 things. One is he takes someone else's idea and adds his own little spin to it, which is what he did for Yo-Son Goku and his friends Return and Battle of Gods. He'll write a very vague outline for Toei's writing staff and Toyotaro to fill in the blanks for, which is what's going on for the likes of Dragon Ball Super's anime and manga respectively. Or he'll have entire creative control, full on writing the story and shaping it and having full control of everything that happened, like he did for Dragon Ball Minus and Resurrection F. Dragon Ball Minus is the biggest piece of shit ever because all it does is takes Goku's origin story and Supermans the hell out of it. And it takes Bardock, an interesting character from Bardock, the father of Goku, and just simply proceeds to shit on everything that made Bardock even remotely interesting in the first place. It just has a story of, hey, what if Bardock and Gine were the only 2 loving couples among the Saiyans? It's like, so the fuck what? It's not necessary, nobody asked for it, it's not a good idea, and it shits on an idea that was good that you guys have had before. And then Resurrection F was nothing more than one big bloated fight scene. That's all the movie was. It's Frieza's revived. He trains for 4 months doing some bullshit ass training, whatever the fuck it was, to get godly power. And then he invades Earth, Goku and Vegeta kill Frieza. And that's all really the fuck the movie was. It's just the vast majority of the movie is no story progression. It is simply a big fight. And even if you want to make the argument of that's what basically all of the Dragon Ball Z movies are, but here's the thing. The Dragon Ball Z movies are just simply little extra bits made by Toei. These are things that have nothing to do with Toriyama. These are just basically a bunch of extended episodes. They have no bearing on the plot and they're just a little extra. They're not meant to be these big grandiose things. And there's only about 5 of them that I would even consider to be good. But here's the thing, I don't expect much out of these movies anyway, but the point of bringing Toriyama into something would be to have him craft a story that only he could make. Have him do something special that we would be able to realize that only Toriyama himself would actually be able to pull off. But then you have Resurrection F, and it's really no different from the movies from before. And then you have Battle of Gods. That movie wasn't even his original idea, but then he puts his own spin on the idea, And the plot is so ridiculously thin that we have to shoehorn in the Pilaf gang just to pad out the runtime. Which shows that Toriyama doesn't exactly have the Midas touch that he had before, and at this point Toriyama just really doesn't care. It's just a fuck ton of money is coming Toriyama's way, so he doesn't really have to try because, you know, the mindless fanboys of this franchise will eat up whatever bullshit comes their way as long as the Toriyama stamp of approval's on it. That's what modern Dragon Ball is. This isn't Dragon Ball by an artist. This is Dragon Ball by committee. It's just a committee of guys in suits just sit around and say, hey, the fans like this. Hey, the fans like that. Hey, Toriyama, why don't you make a character based on them? Or hey, let's just take these characters and just force them out of retirement just because, you know, we know the fans like them so much. That's all it is. Dragon Ball is no longer a story that's crafted by an artist. Because there was a time back in the 80s and the 90s where Akira Toriyama was an artist. He had good ideas in his head and he was crafting these ideas in his stories. He started off with Dr. Slump and then he made his way to Dragon Ball. His story, while simplistic, is effective. And this is a story that would go to pave the way of battle shonen anime everywhere. If it weren't for this story, then the likes of One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, Fairy Tail, My Hero Academia, Soul Eater, none of that shit would exist without this. But nowadays, instead of being a story that paves the way for new mangaka to be inspired by and to shape their stories by, this series just takes its own ideas and rehashes them. Dragon Ball is just very derivative of itself nowadays. Because let's just take a look at the things that Dragon Ball Super has done. Let's just take a look at the things that Dragon Ball has done recently. Resurrection F is basically like a rehashing of Cooler's Revenge. We have Frieza coming to Earth, and he has a new form to pretty much show off, and this new form is nothing more than a fucking palette swap. Cooler at least had an original looking form, a creative looking form, but Frieza just has a fucking palette swap, and this story adds absolutely fuck all to the narrative, so it might as well be a non-canon movie like Cooler's Revenge is. And then you have the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, where they just simply rehash Battle of Gods and Resurrection F and add absolutely nothing to the story. They just stretch it so thin in order to cover a 22-minute runtime over the course of about 28 episodes. And then you have the Universe 6 tournament, which, you know, is a throwback to the tournament arcs of Dragon Ball, but unlike Dragon Ball, they do absolutely nothing in service to our characters. It has no importance on its own, as the two gods are just fighting over food. And then ultimately, all this tournament does is set up a tournament later on. And then you have the Future Trunks arc, where we force Trunks out of retirement, despite the fact that it makes absolutely no fucking sense to do, because Trunks has already had his character arc resolved at the end of the Android saga of Dragon Ball Z. His story arc has come to a close. There is absolutely nothing more that you can add to him. All you can do is take away, and that is very much what they do. They take away everything that was good about his character in the first place. And then you have him go up against Goku Black, which is just a retreading of the evil Goku doppelganger thing that we've had ever since the Tree of Might. And then we also had it in the Namek saga when Captain Ginyu switched bodies with Goku. So it's not adding any new interesting direction to take us in. Even if the arc was better than what came before in Dragon Ball Super, it still just couldn't stick the landing and make much of itself, as its ending just completely craps out and becomes utter shit to the point where Dragon Ball Super becomes irredeemably bad at that point. And then you have Kale, which is just female Broly, so that's pretty much all she is. It's like, hey, we have Broly tards out there, and hey, we're gonna add more appeal to just make her a girl, to make Broly a girl. But we don't stop there, we're also just gonna make Broly be the antagonist of this movie, so we've officially moved him up into the canon. But let's just think about it. What exactly is this movie gonna do to set it apart from the Broly movie from before? What is it gonna do to set itself apart from movie 8? Because all I really see Toriyama doing is taking away the Goku crying, annoyed Broly when they were babies, and now Broly just simply hates Goku solely because of that. That's all I really see that this movie's gonna really do. But besides that, what is this movie really gonna bring to the table? And from the trailer I've seen, obviously it's not gonna bring much. It's like, in the trailer it shows, hey, Goku versus Broly, Vegeta versus Broly, Frieza versus Broly. So is that pretty much gonna sum up the movie? It's just gonna be a big fight scene or scenes involving just them fighting with very little character progression? Is it gonna pretty much be very similar to what movie 8 is? Just the only real difference is Broly's power levels have gone through the roof? Because that's all that this movie really looks like it's going to be doing. It doesn't really look like it's going to be doing much of anything creative. And like, where it's going to take place on Earth, as we can see. It's not going to take place on like some other planet, because we see that icy region is like, is this a different planet? Nope, it's Earth. And also, other characters like Gohan, like Piccolo, like Goten and Trunks, like any of the human characters, like Android 18 or 17, they're not gonna matter in this movie. It's just pretty much, if from this point on, if you ain't Goku, you ain't Vegeta, you ain't Frieza, you ain't shit. So Dragon Ball's wide cast of characters aren't going to matter here, and they're not look like they're not even gonna be featured in this movie much. So it's like, you know, what is this just gonna be? Just simply just the Broly movie? Is it just simply going to be movie 8? Is that it? Just simply movie 8, just with the Toriyama stamp of approval on it? Because I don't need that. I got movie 8 right here. I can just pop it in my DVD player on my PS4 and watch it any fucking time I want. I don't just need that same story just because Toriyama wrote it. And that's really all that it takes. Is just, if something has the Toriyama stamp of approval, the fanboys will eat it up. And they won't care if it's actually good or not. That's really the reason why people hate GT. Let's face it, people only hate GT this much because it doesn't have the Toriyama stamp of approval. If it did, I guarantee you people wouldn't hate it nearly as much. And that's where, Toei, they learned that they have to have Toriyama involved, even though when you look at Toriyama's involvement in these projects, his involvement is very fucking minimal. Very fucking minimal. It doesn't even really fucking matter. But hey, they're still gonna eat it up anyway, and that's what everyone is basically doing for this movie. This movie is just, it's not gonna be much of anything. I already know it isn't. And before you guys start saying, oh hey, the movie isn't out yet, at least give it a fair chance before you criticize it. It could wind up subverting your expectations. No. Dragon Ball won't subvert my expectations. It didn't subvert my expectations with the Universe Survival Saga, as it ended exactly as I knew it would. Everyone gets revived and nothing progresses or even matters. As Dragon Ball, it doesn't subvert expectations anymore. All it does is just simply give the fans what they want instead of what the writers actually think would make a good story. That's why so many of these characters constantly keep getting brought back. We keep bringing Frieza back, we keep bringing Broly back because they're popular with the fans, and that's the reason why I'm glad Cell isn't that popular amongst the Japanese fan base, because I would not want to see Cell revived and just forced out of retirement just so you can ruin what credibility he has. Cell is gone, let Cell stay gone, and I'm glad Cell is gone because Cell is a better villain than Frieza anyway, and the thing that, and him staying in retirement, him staying dead, is the thing that continually makes him a good villain in the long run. Because he's not being forced down our throats like Frieza is, and like Broly is right now. So at this point, it's just Dragon Ball Super. I have sat through all 131 episodes of Super. I've given it more than enough chances. I've seen Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, sat through the absolute piece of shit that was Super, and hated every minute of it. It only has a handful of good moments in there, and those moments are buried under huge piles of shit. So I really don't expect this movie to subvert any expectations that I might have. And I don't have any expectations at all for this movie. I'm not even going to bother, because I already know it's not going to be worth my time. Because modern Dragon Ball has proven that it's not worth my time, because Dragon Ball at this point is a shell of its former self. It doesn't matter. It's just simply nothing but them regurgitating the old content of Dragon Ball and just rehashing it for a newer audience instead of doing anything truly new, truly creative, something to set itself apart from early Dragon Ball. But hey, what do I expect? Toriyama, he's no longer an artist. This is no longer like a passion project. This is no longer something that is treated with any sort of care. It's just simply a cash cow. Basically, Toriyama is a lot like George Lucas at this point, as the Star Wars franchise now just absolutely sucks dick. The Force Awakens sucks dick, Rogue One sucked dick, The Last Jedi was just one huge pile of shit, and Solo, what's the point of Solo? It's like, why does that movie even exist? Did anybody ask for a movie entirely dedicated to the backstory of Han Solo? Did anybody really ask for that? Because and it's the same with Dragon Ball, because whatever I can imagine in my head is much better than what Toriyama actually comes up with, because every time he expands the lore of the Dragon Ball universe, he constantly makes it seem smaller and insignificant, like that 28 planet bullshit. There's just so many things about modern Dragon Ball that has really turned me off from Dragon Ball franchise so greatly. Even though I will always love the likes of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and I even enjoy GT. But when it comes to the likes of anything after that, basically any Dragon Balls that was released after 1997, I have no reason to give two shits about it. I have no reason to give Dragon Ball any more chances, as it has just all been nothing but shit after shit after shit, with the exception of Kai. But Kai is just basically Dragon Ball Z without the filler, and much better paced, and much better dubbing as well. So that doesn't really count. I love Kai. But everything else, from Dragon Ball Minus to Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, the episode of Bardock, to Dragon Ball Super and its upcoming movie, I'm just done with it all. I'm just so done with modern Dragon Ball. I'm not gonna watch any more shows. I ain't gonna see any more movies, because like right now they got that Dragon Ball Heroes anime out, and that is it. It's just, I don't know much about Dragon Ball Heroes anyway, but from what I've seen, it's just a video game that's just entirely, fan service and whatever. But when it just comes right down to it, we have this anime, and this anime is just, I saw the first episode and nothing of any real significance happened in it, so it's like I'm not gonna tune in to watch it again. And when Dragon Ball Super gets revived, when they start the new season up, or if they make a new Dragon Ball series, I'm sure as hell not gonna watch it. And when it comes to this upcoming movie, I ain't spending my money on that. I ain't going to the theaters to watch that shit. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even bootleg it. I wouldn't even go on a free anime watching site to go see that. At this point, it's just Dragon Ball has proven that it's not gonna be worth my time anymore, so I am not going to associate myself with any of the later entries of the franchise. So at this point, I'm officially done with Dragon Ball. I'll always watch the old stuff, but the new stuff is dead to me. But hey, if anybody else who still loves this franchise in spite of what it's become, more power to you. But I've had enough. And when this new Broly movie does come out, I guarantee you that it's not gonna really do much to set itself apart from movie 8 that we got way back in 1993. So, what do you guys think of this movie? Are you guys looking forward to this movie, or do you guys think that this movie is just gonna be more and more of the same of what we've been getting with Dragon Ball Super up to this point? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, like and subscribe for more content. So, that'll be the end of this video. Have a good day, everyone. This is Trace, signing out.